football. There you go. 2 consecutive winning seasons. First time since 2013-14. And folks, no longer sleeping on the Jackets. No longer sleeping on these guys from the ATL.
You can run, but you can't hide.
The big coach has joined us right now, front and center down here at Amelia Island. First of all, I didn't even recognize the color. I got to be honest with you. You faked me out with the quarter zip.
My wife dresses me.
Same here.
Yeah. Danielle and Harper, they dress me, so.
They came through.
Yeah, they said it brings out my eyes.
It is.
Good job.
That's it. That sounds like a real offensive lineman, right? Buddy somebody up. Let's go. Let's talk a little football first before we get to business. Well, I tell you what, high expectations. You got a lot of guys back. When you got a quarterback who can really play, an offensive line will hit you, guys who can run the football, you got to be thrilled. I know we talked to you last month before the spring game. I'm assuming everybody got through that, rather safe, right? Got through the healthy.
That's the reason you practice and have a game is really so you can perform and do things in those environments that normally they wouldn't have until game time. And of course you do. You have things that come up, and guys do things. They're coachable moments. They're teaching moments. And we came out healthy, and looking forward to the summer now.
We know Haynes King. We know Jamal Haynes. We know some of the pieces that you have and how they perform on a field. Give me a couple names or a position group or something that you saw this spring that stood out to you that maybe we don't know just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's in our DNA really to have, the superstar type players all over the place. That's not really who we are. We have some really good players that in their own right can become that. Mm-hmm. But, it's about the whole team. I don't want to single out one position over another, but, you got I think seven out of 8 new guys on the D-line. Yep. So new faces there. I'm excited with the depth we have and the competition we have at linebacker. Yep. On the defensive, on the back end, a combination of guys that have played a lot of football and then really talented young guys. And, kind of the same thing, with the O-line. We have some really talented young guys that hadn't really played. And then we've got guys that have and some role players. And what I thought was important with this offseason was really keeping the roster intact and keeping it. It's those guys that are the 6th offensive lineman, the 7th offensive lineman, the 4th receiver. Those are the heart and soul, of your team, especially when they're young guys, true freshmen, redshirt freshmen, sophomores. You want to keep those guys to continue to develop them, and we've had a chance to do that now with some guys that have stayed, and we're excited about them.
John Wildhack was just here a second ago, and he talked about the alignment from the top, the AD to the coach. Again, it trickles down to players, coaches, everything else. It feels, with all the conversations we had with Jay Batt, again, a gazillion times we've had you on, that alignment is absolutely in play at Georgia Tech.
It is. It's great. It's so good to be able to go into work every day to know that you are aligned and that your president has your back and your AD has your back, and everyone has the same vision, is on the same course, and is willing to do anything to get to that ultimate end goal.
But even like the fundraising that's going on, the facilities that are being built, you can just feel, again, I'm not just saying because you're sitting here, but to me, Georgia Tech is one of those schools that feels like, hey, it's going to be a hot school. Like if I fast forward the clock 5 years from now, you're going to look back and go, you know what, I remember when it turned. It just feels that way.
It's funny, in fact, that I think a couple of years ago we started this thing out of let's be the most non-glitzy, non-glamorous, non-fun, just old school grit and, football team that there is, and I guess the old school way is the new school now, and it's become cool again. So, but it starts up top. But our kids have fun, and I think when you watch us play, you watch our teams play, that you see guys out there having fun and trying to do it the right way.
Yeah, so many fun moments with this team. You have to tune into Georgia Tech football every week because you never know what you're going to get, especially at the end of games. It always goes crazy, and we're always sidelined, it feels like, for those games. You mentioned retention, and that is your main goal, to keep your core together when you go into the offseason. We've talked ad nauseum on this show, and it'll be talked about all week, about the portal and the calendar and all of that. How do you go about retaining your players? Everyone probably has a different approach, but you've done a really good job of it.
Yeah, to me, that's something that goes on 365 days a year. It doesn't take place just right before the portal opens or a week before, 2 weeks before. You got to have relationships and be able to gain information. See what they're thinking, and really, there's 3 reasons why kids either stay or transfer when it comes to that. And it's a little it's a different flow than it is a high school kid. And there's 3 things, and all the research that we've done and looked at. There's the bonds, the relationships, the culture, the friendship, in the locker room. There's the, development for the next level and chase of championships. And then the third one's the money part, the monetary part. And what order that is for each kid, no one really knows except for that kid. But to be able to have something in place to reach all three of those, I think is important.
Tell you what, you may laugh at this. You don't look to be, let's have a meeting, let's have a committee, let's go get down the road and have another. You look like a guy that's like, hey, I ain't got time for this nonsense. Let's get it. So these couple days here, for you, do you find this to be productive? Is this one? Does it actually we get something accomplished here? Is this a cocktail hour? I mean, what's it like for you these 2 days?
I think at the end, the hope and the goal is to get things accomplished. Even if you come out of here accomplishing one thing, 2 things, 3 things, but more than that, it's gaining knowledge. It's gaining knowledge about the profession, the game that we have. Gaining knowledge, building friendships and relationships, with guys you compete against, knowing them a little more as a person as opposed to just a figurehead on the sideline. And the other sports that are here, the other coaches that are here. You guys. You get a chance to see y'all.
Don't get there. Listen, big boy. Don't get soft on us now on this show. No. I want the rough, gruff,
it's
gritty. Let's go.
Look, you get 18 alphas in a room. It's hard to come up with one final decision, but that's the beauty of it to me is when you do get that type of personalities all in a room together to be able to come away with the same thing.
So, all right, for instance, give me something you learned today that you can use on air. That would be football related.
I'd have to go back and look at my notes.
No,
you take
I know
notes?
better than that.
You're a note taker, yeah.
I mean, there has to be something that came out that you said, hey, you know what? This makes sense. This works for the league, much less Georgia Tech.
I think some of the discussions on spring practices and going into the summer and moving that kind of time frame into the summer. So I mean, just that world. I think that's interesting to think about a different format of preparing your team, and I think a lot of it's going to align with what ends up being the portal window because you want to be able to have your team together and be able to practice and work with guys that are going to be on your team.
On the note of having all these alphas in a room together, right before we came on TV, the cameras didn't catch it, but Bill O'Brien's over here joking, and you guys are laughing, and you guys all know each other, and from years past or jobs past, it's a small coaching world, and only you guys can really understand the career, so it's a special bond. But if you had to, the golf course is right over there. Foursome of ACC coaches going out there, who's in your group?
OB.
Okay.
He was a GA when I started playing at Georgia Tech. So then he was the running back coach. Then he was the offensive coordinator.
You go way back.
His first year as offensive coordinator was my first year as a GA, and I was the worst in the world at GA. So I feel bad for him. Nowadays I do.
There we got OB.
I'd go. So I've played with Pat before, so I'd go Dave Dorn.
Okay.
OB.
I can see this.
Fran.
It's a fun bunch.
Well, Norvell just won the championship there with that.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm not taking him. I'm not taking him. We need to start. We need a better handicap.
I mean, and he tag team with Urban Meyer. I mean, what a bizarre. I mean, it'd be like saying, hey, guess
2 years
what?
in a row.
You and Kirby Smart, you'd be like, that's not what happened.
Yeah, we're not going.
We're not doing that.
I wasn't going to have a tied golf game at the end.
No, you can't do it. We're not going to put a jacket and a bulldog together ever.
Yeah, well,
ever.
Huh?
Doesn't work.
I need to follow up on the fact that you said you were a bad GA back in the day when he was the coach. What made you a bad GA?
Oh, I was horrible. I was right out of being a player. I mean, I thought it was just going to carry over, and it didn't. And it was a lot of work. And back then there was 2 GAs. We'd added a third. I was kind of that third, supposed to be for a year. And then I won't name the name of the GA that was there that left 1 month before the season. He may or may not be coaching at a school in a neighboring state. Name might rhyme with a Ain or a Maine, or Dad may have coached in this league. Now Shane leaves, I get thrust into it, and talk about breakdowns. I mean, I knew it from a box being an O lineman, and now all of a sudden I'm talking about coverages and routes, and I apologize to Billy for that.
That's great. Before we let you go, what do you think the strength of your football team will be in 25? It's liable to change by the time you get to fall camp, I know. But what would you say today the strength of this football team upcoming year will be what?
Well, I can't say enough how excited I'm about our quarterback room.
Yeah.
And that I do believe we have the best quarterback room in the country.
You guys are going to be good, I'm telling you.
I'd agree with that.
I got a good vibe about what's going on in Atlanta.
Okay.
Really do.
Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Stay healthy, and we'll see you down the road. Enjoy the rest of the beach
Thanks,
while
Ken.
you're here.
Is there a beach?
It's off there, off there in the
I'll go
distance.
throw my Jimmy Buffett on and
There you
hang out
go.
there.
You got it.
Appreciate y'all.
You got
Thank
it.
you.